You're now watching Q News, and here are the top stories for this hour. Hamas has announced the resumption of indirect negotiations with Israel over a ceasefire in Gaza set to take place in Qatar. Hamas stated that this round of negotiations will focus on securing a complete ceasefire agreement, the withdrawal of occupying forces from the Gaza Strip, the details of its implementation, and the return of displaced people to their homes across the region. Palestine's UN representative Riyad Mansour has denounced Israeli actions in Gaza, describing them as war crimes and genocide. Speaking at a UN Security Council session, Mansour commended the bravery of Palestinian medical teams working under fire, often at great personal risk. He criticized the international community for its inaction and underscored the atrocities faced by Palestinians, including the torture and killing of detained doctors. Mansour called for immediate global intervention to halt the violence and prevent further displacement and destruction. Eight members of the Israeli Knesset have urged Defense Minister Israel Katz to purge northern Gaza, calling for the destruction of all food, water and energy resources. Israeli media reported that the lawmakers, members of the Foreign Affairs and Defense Committee, called on the Israeli military to enforce a blockade, destroy infrastructure, and kill anyone not raising a white flag in northern Gaza. They argued that the current military strategy has been ineffective in defeating Hamas. UNRWA has urged Israel to lift its ban on the organization, which plays a vital role in delivering desperately needed aid to the besieged people of Gaza. In November, Israel's parliament passed two controversial bills, one banning UNRWA from operating in Israeli territory, and another mandating the closure of its premises in the occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem, as well as in war-torn Gaza. An Egyptian plane has landed at Damascus International Airport, delivering 15 tons of medical and relief supplies, including tents, blankets, food, and medicine. This shipment, part of Egypt's ongoing support for Syria, is intended to help alleviate the challenging conditions faced by Syrians. The Syrian Red Crescent will oversee its distribution. Additional aid is expected, underscoring Egypt's humanitarian commitment to reconstruction efforts and its support for friendly nations during crises, in line with recent UN appeals for urgent assistance in Syria. Lebanon's caretaker Prime Minister Najib Mikati stated that Syria's military operations chief Ahmed al-Shara invited him to Damascus to discuss strengthening bilateral ties. Mikati noted in a statement that he spoke with al-Shara over the phone about an incident involving the Lebanese army on the al-Baqa border with Syria. Al-Shara assured him that Syrian authorities had taken the necessary measures to restore calm. Syrian Civil Aviation and Air Transport Authority head Ashad al-Salibi has announced that Damascus International Airport will resume international flights starting January 7th. That came after a temporary closure after the fall of al-Assad's regime. Earlier, reports suggested that the airport might reopen soon, with initial internal or trial flights planned to ensure operational readiness. The reopening will ease Syrians' return to their homeland. On December 8th, all airport employees were evacuated, halting flights and operations due to the regime's collapse. Israeli broadcasting has reported that U.S. General Gasper Jeffers informed the Lebanese army of Israel's intention to remain in southern Lebanon until April. Israeli media stated that this move would be justified by claims that the Lebanese army is not meeting meeting the terms of the agreement and that Hezbollah is attempting to reorganize in the region, despite the ceasefire agreement calling for the Lebanese army's deployment in these areas. These are all the top stories we have for now. I'm Hani Saif. Thank you for joining us.